Hi you guys, I'm Kim Sage. I'm a clinical psychologist in Newport Beach, California, and today's video is all about what anxious attachment really looks like in real life. The last video I made was a little more clinical in terms of describing things, and so I want to really get into what it feels like and looks like when you have anxious attachment. So let's get started. Okay, so what anxious attachment really looks like is a person who has a really difficult time navigating relationships because they tend to be really focused on the relationship, really stressed, really worried, and the root of it is that they are highly sensitive to the relationship quality and the behaviors and the interactions. And this is all, of course, like so many things, rooted in their childhood, but I want to give you a flavor of what it feels like and looks like with anxious attachment. Now, just a quick reminder, the attachment system is really our brain's mechanism for monitoring closeness and safety and danger that developed actually even before we were born, and really is about our connection to our primary caregivers and what that reciprocal relationship looks like. If you have an anxious attachment system, you are seriously aware of any potential threat to the relationship at any given moment. The problem is you perceive many things as threat, things that often are not threat. You might be choosing a partner who is triggering the threat in you, but maybe you're not. You're over-reading, over-cueing, overreacting deep inside to this fear that at any given moment you could lose the relationship. They get really activated and they have a really hard time down regulating from that feeling. And so what they do is they will create what we call activating strategies to try to calm that sense of panic, that highly sensitive thing going on inside. What happens is they often become highly consumed with thoughts about the nature of the relationship. Where's it going? What's happening? Is my partner going to leave me? Where are they? Why didn't they answer their cell phone? Things like that. Maybe he doesn't love me. Maybe she doesn't really care about me. And so they start using these strategies to calm and soothe those feelings. And basically what they look like are really any attempts to reestablish closeness with their partner, even if their partner is not even present in the situation. So here are some examples of what activating strategies look like when you're super anxious and you're trying to calm that feeling inside, really of panic and fear that, is my partner going to be there for me? Are they going to leave me? Do they really love me? Or am I even safe without them? What they might do is they might find themselves, and now they can be completely alone doing this, okay? So they'll start thinking about their partner, focusing on all of their good qualities. They might put them on a pedestal, and really these anxious feelings generally don't go away until they get some sort of reinforcement or reassurance from their partner. Sometimes they'll have these feelings of, well, this is as good as it's going to get. I might not be able to find another partner, so I'll just take this. They'll start to rationalize all these behaviors that maybe they are appropriate behaviors on their partner's behalf, but maybe they're not. Maybe they've chosen, let's say, an avoidant partner, and it's triggering all these things for them. So they'll start to create these activating strategies to calm and quiet that sense of worry inside. They'll say things like, oh, everybody has problems, or, he didn't mean to, or she probably just had my best interest, she or he was probably really just looking out for me. Or they'll start justifying and minimizing the partner's behavior. They're very much consumed with and preoccupied, which is another word we use for this attachment style. They're preoccupied, right? They're thinking about it. Their mind is always running around strategies and scenarios about this fear of losing closeness and connection to their partner. So let me give you a breakdown of kind of what it might look like when they are sort of starting with something that they feel stressed about in the relationship and kind of the rabbit hole of where it can go. So let's say you're a guy and your your new girlfriend hasn't really been 100% reliable, but generally speaking, she has. But this one morning, she gets up and she goes to the gym. And normally when she leaves the gym, she texts you or she calls you, and she doesn't do that. And so you start to get a little worried. First you think, okay, did she really go to the gym? Then you start to think, well, maybe something's happened to her. She's not safe. Maybe something fell on her at the gym. I'm just kidding. And so you check your phone and there's nothing there. And then a little more time goes by and then you're starting to feel a little stressed inside. You check your phone and she's texted you, hey babe, I'm running late. I stopped by Whole Foods and so I will be home soon. Okay, phew, fine, everything's good. My activation was up for the guy or the girl, if it's the same scenario, but now it's lowered, okay? But let's just say that doesn't happen. Let's say that you're waiting for the text or the call, you're getting a little more panicked, you don't get the text message from your partner. So then you start thinking, okay, great, maybe I did something this morning, and you start to get a little bit more panicked. So then you decide, okay, well, I'm not gonna wait for her or him to call me or text me. Back to our example at the gym, so I'm just going to text her and just say, hey, are you okay? Just checking in, thinking we might get sushi tonight. Just, reaching out, kind of thinking like, I'll make an offer of a connection and she'll have to respond to that. So you start to wonder, is she going to respond to the sushi thing? And let's say she does. Oh, that sounds great. So sorry, my phone died. All good. Okay, great. Once again, you're activated, but now you've calmed it. Things are good. But let's just say you send a text message about dinner and there's no response from her. And now it's approaching lunchtime. She left for the gym around, 8 o'clock that morning. So then you're feeling really stressed. You've sent the message about the dinner. There's been no response. And now hours have gone by. And so for a person with anxious attachment, this is what's happening is you are getting super stressed. And in your mind, you can't focus on work now. You don't know if something's wrong. You start playing all these mind games, how she may have left you, or she met someone at the gym, or she's not safe, or she's mad at you. And then you start over analyzing some dumb comment you made the night before that she didn't love, or you just start making up in your head some issue that you think is a problem, right? At any point as this is escalating and going on, had she reached out to you and texted you, you would have been fine. You would have been able to calm yourself and you would have been deactivated. But now you're super activated and you really kind of go down that hole of obsessing. You can't stop thinking about it and you're sure that something's wrong with her or the relationship. And you're spiraling and spinning and you don't know where to go next. And you just stay this way until you finally hear from her. And now you've actually gone from, okay, the relationship's over, or she's in a ditch somewhere. You've just gone to a place where you really truly have a hard time focusing on anything else. Then at some point, she finally texts you and she says, oh, it's good. And she tells you the whole story of what happened. And as long as she's reassuring, you kind of can get yourself back on track. But the problem is you just spent half a day or more completely stressed, completely dysregulated, and activated worrying about the relationship. And you didn't get that project done at work. And you were maybe texting your friend or calling somebody at work and trying to play the scenarios out and why isn't she answering her phone? And you've really lost a chunk of your whole day stressed about this. This is what can happen with anxious attachment. Okay, so let's go back to that example and talk about protest behaviors. Let's say I'm activated. We're at the example where we're at the gym. I'm at the gym and you're texting me and you send me the text about the sushi thing and I don't respond because for good reason. Let's say my phone broke or there was an emergency at work and normally I text you but I just couldn't. Maybe I'm doing open heart surgery, right? Something's going on. Sometimes the other partner, the anxious partner, gets so activated that they use what we call protest behaviors, which is really now I'm doing whatever I can to get your attention. So now I'm just not texting you about sushi. I'm texting you, where the hell are you? What is going on? I don't get why you're not responding to me. Are you with that guy or whatever you're doing or that girl? You start to do things like that. Or maybe you decide that when I finally do text you, you're going to ignore me, you're not going to respond, you're going to show me, you're going to make me wait 4 hours now. So you might do things like excessive calling, spam texting. You might like try to keep score, and like I said, like, well, I'm not going to text you back for 4 hours now because you didn't text me. You might be angry and hateful and say things that you wish you didn't. You might start yelling. You might withdraw and just not respond at all, kind of go dark, just because you're like, great, I'm going to show you what this feels like, let you worry about me now. You might be super manipulative and act like, well, I had stuff going on too, or my phone died too. I knew someone who used to play the, oh, I went to bed early game, and it was like, really? No, you didn't. And so you see things like that all the time. It's just like this, oh, I accidentally fell asleep. I mean, it happens, right? But it becomes this sort of game playing, this attempt to draw you in and to show you how I really feel. The other thing they might do is try to make you jealous and act out with someone else. They might get flirty. They might accidentally leave something out for you to see. There's a great scene in Harry Met Sally, I know I'm totally aging myself, but where Carrie Fisher decides she's going to send flowers to herself to try to make her boyfriend jealous, the one she's actually having an affair with. That's a whole other conversation. But, we might do things like that. We're just really trying to get their attention. Babies or kids who had these kind of parents had parents who were sometimes attuned and sometimes not. And it could be for things like mother was overtasking, or you had caregivers who were available and not available. And the way it's described in the literature is kids who had hope and disappointment. The children became, and I use this example in practice all the time. So here is the main caregiver. The children learned to rotate around whatever emotional needs needed to be happening to get their own needs met. And so they kind of became over-involved in the parents' mood and state of mind. These are parents who were often fearful themselves, and so they were really good at dealing with their kids when they were fearful. They also weren't so good at dealing with their child's independence. And so as a result, many people with anxious attachment are compulsive caregivers. They have learned how to read the environment of their adult caregiver and to meet their needs in order to get their own needs met. But the way it's supposed to be is your parent is supposed to be attuning to you, not you attuning to them. And so it's this kind of like misfire in terms of regulation that you're doing. They're often looking to their partners to validate their self-worth. They can often have a really hard time making decisions, and so they're often looking to their partners to regulate them. Like there's almost like never going to be enough for them, and so it's difficult for them to self-regulate and get that inner critical voice out of their head, that insecurity that they have. They're going to need a lot of validation in order to work through some of those issues. And the theory is this, that our partners, our adult intimate partners, become our replacements for our parents. Think about it, right? Like if we love each other, we're saying, hey, go take your cough syrup, or you're not taking good care of yourself. We kind of parent and love each other. And what we're really trying to do is get those needs met with our partners that we didn't get in childhood. And what we often do, unfortunately, is choose partners who are very similar to our childhood caretakers. But in the best case scenario, we can work through issues with our partners to heal many of those attachment wounds we had as a child. If you have an anxious attachment style, it's important to know how to ask for reassurance from your partner. It's important to work on, through therapy and other relationships, your self-criticalness, your worthiness issues, your decision-making, and trying to learn to become more of that safe shelter for yourself, instead of looking for external regulation, giving sort of my power to other people to make me feel okay about myself. So it really starts with trying to be our own validators of what we need. Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to my video today on anxious attachment. I really appreciate your time. I'm going to post the next video on avoidant attachment, and I'm going to also work on creating a series on how to help heal all of these things. But in the meantime, I just want you to know that I truly believe you can know, heal, and love yourself more. And I hope that these videos make a tiny dent in that. I hope that you will get the help you need if you need help. And I truly believe that therapy is a sacred process, and I truly believe that you are sacred too. So thanks so much. I'll see you next time.